Good morning, Willard Wildcats. Happy Thursday, October 15th. Happy birthday today to Caden W. We hope you have a wonderful birthday on this Thursday. Today, Wildcats, many of you, if you're at Willard for Learns, will be participating in the Great Shakeout Drill. This is a drill that we practice duck, cover, and hold on. And then after the shaking, or the theoretical shaking in this drill, we go outside in our practiced safe way. And you'll remember to practice social distancing as we evacuate the building at Willard. Now, if you're not at Willard and you're learning virtually and you're at home, this is time for you to think about earthquake preparedness and to still practice these things that we practice while we're in school. And talk to your family about what's our plan, because having a plan helps us so that way we're organized. Wildcats, today we're going to read a really fun Magic School Bus book. This book is called The Magic School Bus Lost in the Solar System. Joanna Cole and Bruce Deegan are the authors of this book. And this time I'm not going to read all the little notebook pages and all of the little additions, but I'm going to show you the pictures so you could stop and pause if you wanted to read on your own. It was trip day again in Miss Frizzle's class. Everyone was excited. We were going to the planetarium to see the sky show about the solar system. So if you don't know what a planetarium is, you do by the description, right? That it's a place where you look and see the sky and there's a show. Class, an orbit is the path of the planet or object around the sun. I knew that I get all A's in schools. I have 5 computers. My class went to the planetarium last year. What a show off. Thanks for inviting your cousin, Arnold. She's actually nice when you get to know her. Arnold's cousin Janet was visiting our class for the day. I know all of you will be nice to our guests, said the Frizz. Many of your classes study the solar system, and I know that 5th grade, this is a part of your unit, your IB unit right now. We tried to be nice to Janet, we really did, as we got on the school bus. We told her that Miss Frizzle is the weirdest teacher in the school, but Janet wasn't interested. She wanted to tell us about herself. Who wants a tall school? Oh, I think I missed some over here. My teacher is taller than your school. Your swings are better than your swings. My teacher is weirder than your teacher. Who wants a tall school? As usual, it took a long while to get the old bus started, but finally we were on our way. As we were driving, Miss Frizzle told us all about how the Earth spins like a top as it moves in its orbit. It was just a short drive to the planetarium, but Miss Frizzle talked fast. This bus is a wreck. At least it started this time. We have new school buses at our school. When the Earth spins, we say it rotates. The Earth makes one rotation every year. We got to the planetarium. It was closed for repairs. Class, this means we'll have to return to the school, said the Frizz. We were so disappointed. On the way back, as we were waiting at a red light, something amazing happened. The bus started tilting back and we heard the roar of rockets. Oh dear, said Miss Frizzle. We seem to be blasting off. Children, we are going through the atmosphere, the layers around the Earth. I guess we'll see the solar system after all. When the roar of the rocket stopped, we looked around. Everything had changed. The bus had turned into a spaceship. We were all dressed in spacesuits and we were lighter than feathers. We floated above our seats. Far behind in the black sky, we saw planet Earth getting smaller and smaller. We were traveling in space. We had become astronauts. The Frizz said our first stop would be the moon. We got off the bus and looked around. There was no air, no water, no sign of life. All we saw were dust and rockets and lots of craters. Miss Frizzle said the craters were formed billions of years ago when the moon was hit by meteorites. Meteorites are falling chunks of rock and metal. It was fun on the moon. We wanted to play, but Miss Frizzle said it was time to go, so we got back on the bus. We'll start with the sun, the center of the solar system, said the Frizz, and we blasted off. We zoomed toward the sun, the biggest, brightest, and hottest object in the solar system. Jets of super hot gases shot out at us from the surface. Thank goodness Miss Frizzle didn't get too close. She steered around to the other side and pulled away. We'll be seeing all the planets in order, class, explained Frizzy. Mercury is the first planet, the closest to the sun. Mercury was a dead, sun-baked planet. This planet is a lot like our moon. There is no water and hardly any air, said the Frizz. Notice the craters on its surface as we passed by. Before long, we felt ourselves being pulled in by the gravity of Venus, the second planet from the sun. Venus was completely covered by a thick layer of yellowish clouds. We will now explore the surface of Venus. Below the clouds, Venus was as dry as a desert. The ground was covered with rocks, and it was hot. It was about 460 degrees Celsius. That's much hotter than oven-baked cookies. The air was so heavy, we could feel it pressing down on us. Miss Frizzle said there might be active volcanoes around us, too. We said, let's get out of here. Our next stop is Mars, the red planet, the fourth from the sun, announced the Frizz. On our way, we'll be passing through the orbit of Earth. The third planet, the bus lifted off with a roar. As we came close to Mars, we passed its two moons, which are called Phobos and Deimos, compared to our moon. And they were tiny, and they weren't even round. Looking down, we saw a huge canyon. Miss Frizzle said it was as long as the United States. There was a volcano 3 times taller than the tallest volcano on Earth, and all around there were channels that looked like dried up riverbeds. Ice can be found under the soil. We landed and started walking around. Suddenly a huge dust storm blew up. Miss Frizzle said dust storms on Mars can last for months. They may cover the whole planet. We scrambled back on the bus and headed out. Mars is the last of what we call the inner planets. Miss Frizzle shouted above the roar of the rockets. We will now be going through the asteroid belt to the outer planets. Thousands and thousands of asteroids were spinning all around us. All at once, we heard the tinkling of broken glass. One of our taillights had been hit by an asteroid. Miss Frizzle put the bus on autopilot and we went out to take a look. She kept on talking about asteroids over the bus radio. Suddenly there was a snap. Miss Frizzle's tether line had broken. Without warning, the rockets fired up and the bus zoomed away. The autopilot was malfunctioning. On the radio, Miss Frizzle's voice grew fainter and fainter. Then she was gone and we were on our own. We were lost in the solar system. Kids, I'll meet you later, later, later. Come in, Miss Frizz. Do you read me? What do you think? Are you thinking about how the author is communicating all of this interesting information with all of the captions and pictures around? And the story that flows through it all? Most of us were too scared to move, but Janet started searching the bus. In the glove compartment, she found Miss Frizzle's lesson book. As she began reading from it, a huge planet came into view. Class, this is Jupiter, Janet said. It's the first of the outer planets and the largest planet in the solar system. We thought the school bus was going to land, but there was no solid ground to land on. Jupiter is a gas giant, a planet made mostly entirely of gas. As we left Jupiter, we wondered and worried, would we ever get home? Think they're going to get home safe? Think they're learning a lot about the solar system? The next sight made us forget our troubles. It was Saturn, a gas planet like Jupiter. It had swirling clouds and lots of moons, but the most incredible thing about Saturn was its rings. It was the most beautiful planet in the solar system. Next was Uranus, a blue-green gas planet with faint gray rings and moons. Some scientists think that might be made of chunks of graphite, the material used in pencils on Earth. The bus was going faster and faster, and we couldn't control the autopilot. We swept past stormy Neptune, another green-blue planet, 8th from the sun. All we could think about was finding Miss Frizzle. We were going so fast, we almost missed seeing Pluto and its moons. Charon is the biggest one, and Hydra and Nix are smaller. We were so far away from the sun that it didn't look big anymore. It just looked like a very, very bright star. Janet flipped rapidly through Miss Frizzle's book. Suddenly, she found something new, the instructions for the autopilot. We punched in asteroid belt on the control panel. Slowly, the bus turned around. It was working. We were going back. Then we reached the asteroid belt, and there was Miss Frizzle. With Frizzy back at the wheel, the bus headed straight for Earth. We re-entered the atmosphere, landed with a thud, and looked around. Boys and girls, we are arriving on Earth, the third planet from the sun. Thump. We were in the school parking lot again, and the rockets were gone. The spacesuits were gone. The bus was a wreck. Everything was back to normal. Thank goodness. Hello again, old friend. In the classroom, we made terrific planet charts and a mobile of the solar system. And look at the planet chart. And look at the mobile. At last, it was time to go home. It had been a typical day in Miss Frizzle's class. We now had only one problem. Would anyone ever believe us if we told them about our trip? We went to outer space today. Of course you did, dear. See, his parents are saying, or her parents are saying that. My favorite planet was Jupiter. No, maybe Mars. Of course Saturn was gorgeous too. Look at the parents. The parents are like, Mom, make him stop. There was Miss Frizzle floating among the asteroids. What an imagination. Could have been lost in space forever. Eat your salad, honey. Do you think the parents think that's what's really happening? Okay, Wildcats, think about how you can communicate information with a story moving through it, because the information and the facts that are presented here in the captions and in the notebook papers are really key to the story because they give us more and more information. So Wildcats, remember, we are safe, respectful, and responsible. Have a wonderful day. I'll see you on Friday.